So my mom got me a watercolor set for my birthday, and this was at my request. And she was very, very happy that I actually picked something that wasn't bed sheets or a cooking utensil and new spatulas. So she was really kind of fussy, and she's like, "Honey, you're 48 years old. Can you give me a birthday present that's just a want and not a, well, I need another set of sheets?" And I struggled to come up with something, and I was going to just ask for a gift card for clothes. And then I'm like, you know what? And as a last ditch attempt, I was looking through Amazon, and I was looking through Amazon, and I kind of came across, I was kind of looking at like adult hobbies and that kind of stuff, that kind of thing, to be like, hey, what um, what would I like if I were to pick a hobby? What would I like? And what I discovered was a lot of crap there that I'm just not interested in. And but I gave it, I gave it a try. I was looking through everything, and I came across, and there's lots of like puzzles and stuff, and I do enjoy puzzles. I enjoy puzzles very much, and I want to, and I spend time putting together puzzles. I've enjoyed that. I've sort of rediscovered that love of puzzles, but I didn't want to just be like, well, get me a puzzle. I was trying to find something more unique, more interesting, or in a lot of ways, I am still trying to define myself. I am still trying to find my likes, my don't likes. Salt, plastic wrap, lifting paint with paper towels. Yes! I have sort of been like glancing over and reading out some things. And Lily, I printed up the free guide, and it turns out under my paints, under here, when I pulled it all up, I realized that there was a little slip of paper that I had missed that said, hey, I printed the guide. Well, I had no, I had a little, like a postcard set inviting me to that page to do that. Right. It just told me to go there and sign up, and I checked it's the exact page that you gave me. And I'm like, no problem. Here's my email. Gimme. And I did print it out, and it's got a great color wheel. And then Wolfman supplied another great color wheel that's even more intricate, and there's a whole bunch of interesting stuff and techniques and stuff. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to start wetting the page, the paper. I want to say canvas. Anyway, so for this type of work, you need a solid back to attach your paper to. Now I have some larger sheets of paper, but for now I'm going with the smaller sheets that came with my kit. And there were 3 brushes that came with the kit. There was also, and my mom also got me another set of brushes, and she got me a set or a beginner's book, and the larger set of paper. And apparently you want a certain weight to help with the buckling. Now we want to get this wet, but not like to where it puddles. I'm not sure if you can even see I can actually see some of the dampness. I can see the wet brush strokes. Not entirely sure. Canvas is still appropriate. Um, Folded canvas could be. Do you know a lot about it, Lily? Or do you just because of your artistic background? I just read today that there's actual canvas that you can get, and there's cotton paper that's like hella fancy. Okay, so does it? I'm not gonna worry about color complements or any of that stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna pick a color that I like, and we're just going to play a little bit with it. I'm just gonna grab the violet. You're not a painter yourself other than a crackworks. Okay. So this is my violet. So I was looking through and trying to find something to make my mom happy. Which in turn, in theory, would make me happy. There's purple in the cap. I'm not sure how to get this off. Or get it out. I guess I probably shouldn't put it in my brush. I'm just going to put a little dab. Oh, I don't know if that's a little dab or a big dab. Ah! So I was trying to find something that would make my mom happy. And I came across a lot of things. I'm like, nah, yawn. And then I came across, I saw some acrylics and things like that. And I thought of Bob Ross and the Bob Ross segments in, okay. I'm going to get a different one because I got purple on my, I was trying to clean the cap and I got purple on my, I'm going to put some water down here. Okay, just so I have a place to start with. Look at that glob. Wow. So this is a wet on wet. Right, it will. Using watercolor drives you nuts. Acrylic paint is wonderful for you. Well, I honestly was like, well, and I asked in the Minecraft channel. I'm like, so, because I'm like, Bob Ross uses acrylics and oil base. I guess I should do that, and then at least I could be better with, I could do, and then I'm like, okay, that is not. That is not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to so this is wet on wet. And Fedrin gave me a lot of beautiful information, and she filled me in on things that I hadn't taken into consideration, like like, hey, just so you know, acrylics are more, see, that's where it was darker. Interesting. Acrylics are a little bit more work to clean. They're, I don't know if you've considered watercolor, but watercolor is inexpensive and you can get started. And I'm out of purple. And you can, well, the guys use acrylics. most of the guys in Minecraft use acrylics when they're doing the Bob Ross stuff. And oh my gosh, right, Mousy? Fedrin was amazing. And she told me things about Fedrin is Fedrin is she struggles with pain. I'm not really sure which one of these I should stick it in or not. Fedrin struggles with pain, much more so than I do. Much more so than I do. And I have, for the most part, my pain under control. Some days are much better than others, and some days are downright difficult. And she had commented, this does kind of, you have to really push with this and with that. And it does kind of hurt. Right. She has a lot of nerve pain issues, right. So she was really amazing to fill me in, and I, honest to goodness, had discounted watercolor because in my mind, in my mind's eye, it was going to be this makes me happy. Wow. And in my mind's eye, I had thought about some watercolor, and when I first was looking at it, and I kind of glanced and went, watercolor is unforgiving, it's translucent, it's difficult. And I kind of went, nope. But the more I was talking to her, the more I was like, oh, well, that's a really good thought to have. That's a really good to know. Oh, okay. And she said, it's not. So then we took it privately, and she said it's not that it's harder for beginners. It's just it's not very forgiving. And so. Okay, purple, you're going to stay there. Violet, you're going to stay there for the moment. Let's get another color going. Let's get... What are you, blue? Is it cerulean or cerulean? Is it a hard C or a soft C? Actually, let's get some sap green. So it is cerulean? What? And I was kind of amazed, like talking to her and realizing that, so it's not an impossible medium. It's not super difficult. And she's like, no, not at all. Don't be cerulean. I'm trying to put it on with the pointy bit. Wow. Well, I just shoved more onto the pointy bit. No problem. So she was fantastic, a fantastic wealth of information. By the way, whenever I do the painting, I will probably have my hair up. Absolutely. Well, fan. Um, so she gave me a wealth of information. Now back to the the initial some of my love of this this these colors, this medium. So when my oldest son Joshua and my oldest daughter Nibby were in high school, they did I want you off this brush. Okay. I know I'm doing this completely wrong. I realize that. Yeah, and 2019's Inktober was amazing. Okay, I'm totally not doing this right. So what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to like get some water on the brush and then pick up a bit and then go from there. I'm just sort of painting and playing with it, which is kind of what was encouraged, just to get a feel for how the paint flows and how it comes out. So Fedrin had said, this is actually, I would encourage this. It's inexpensive. It doesn't take a lot of room to store. You don't have to worry about things going bad because you can just use them again. And I was like, okay. And it immediately, what I thought of with watercolors was my kids in high school and how they had taken art class. And I've never had an art class in my life. Right. She did more. That's what she said. Um, more watercolor than ink, and she does a lot of the ink. And so she and he were in class, and they actually took the same art class the same year. They were in different classes. What? What? Get back. I'm coming. So the kids took the same art class. They weren't in the same class, but they took it the same year. And they did a section on watercolor, and they brought home different I think the squares were a little bit small, the rectangles were a little bit smaller than this one, and they brought home different watercolor pieces where they were doing the salting and just sort of generally learning about the medium. And I like I think a lot of people, when they think of watercolors, I think you think of one of two things. You either think of like the masterpiece, the beautiful masterpieces, if your mind goes there, or you think of those like little tubs that you got access to in like middle school, and everybody just like and the brushes were all splayed every which way because kids just went meh, we're just diving in there. And I think what really struck me as I came across this um, talking to Fedrin about watercolor, this idea of, do I actually want to try watercolor? What do I think of watercolor? I remembered how drawn I was to the kids' watercolor projects. Um, that they came home with. And I had them on my wall. I had them on my wall in Kansas. I I absolutely loved them. I would often, like, I had them up around a door frame and down again. And I would often just find myself looking at them and just thinking how very simple and yet just beautiful they were. And my daughter thought I was just keeping it because, well, they're your kids' art. And I'm like, actually, I think they're really, I think they're really cool. I think they're really pretty. And I was thoroughly impressed, not because my kids did it, but because they talked about how, oh yeah, well this was in, we did like these three in the one class, and I'm like, okay. Now a lot of them were just sort of general background. I guess on the camera, it, like, there's actually some light green in here. Like, it's a little bit harder to see. It looks very, you can just see the dark bits. Um, so let's go ahead and get some of that blue. So it struck me as how beautiful it was, and after talking to Fedrin, it didn't seem as scary anymore, if that kind of makes sense. Um, I thought, okay, this is a possible thing I could do and actually, maybe enjoy it, or if nothing else, make me happy. And as I'm just playing with color on here, it does make me really happy. And it's so silly. But it's true. Okay. So, we're going to try. Now, I do need to go through and make, like, color samples and label them and warms and colds and all that stuff. But for right now, one of the biggest things that I saw over and over and over again for new people was just stick your brush in some water, get some paint, and just put some stuff on paper. Don't think about it too much. Just do. And so I thought that would be my first. Now, I do know that, I mean, I've read a bit, and I've discovered that my Dawn and Sir Twilit have actually given me an annual or a year-long subscription to Skillshare, um, instead of like just a watercolor book or something, just to see, hey, um, what what might you like? What beyond watercolors, what might you like in general? And I have bookmarked a whole bunch of things, and I've got the app on my tablet, and I've just sort of been reading about not really reading it, but yeah, I guess reading about. I've just been sort of like looking up different sources that Fedrin gave me, and just beginning watercolor sites, right? And getting an idea. It's really kind of cool how the purple is showing under. I'm just getting an idea of stuff. So I've read about a bunch of stuff, but this is like legit the first actual, brush to paper to, I guess brush to paint to paper. And I figured it was probably going to end up just being some abstract-y landscape really piece. I don't have any. Yeah, that's a little bit of a buckle there. I didn't really smooth it when I taped it. Oh, Wolfman! Why have an issue with ankle biters? And so I'm trying really hard to, because I've said my entire life I have absolutely no artistic talent. And I, and I draw stick people crooked, which I do. I really do draw stick people crooked. That said, let's go over this with just some water. That said, I haven't really ever practiced. I haven't really ever tried. I haven't taken any classes. So I kind of don't know. You have a problem with ankle biters being called ankle biters? To be fair, they're kind of at that level. It makes sense. Oh, that's your problem. You have a pound of vacuum sealed cheese and no knife. You know what? Teeth are great. Also, in all seriousness, if you have a fork, a metal fork, you can pop a hole in that and then work it larger. So, I'm assuming you don't have access to scissors. I mean, there's wet on dry, there's dry on dry. This is all kind of a wet on wet process that I'm doing, because I sort of am just letting everything be very, very wet. Oh, jeez! Question, yes. So I do want to experiment those. Does my palette close? No. No. This, well, I guess wow, it's kind of hard to see that over here. This is my white palette there. It does, however, they did recommend that you could put, cling wrap, like clear stuff. Like right now I'm not using a lot in the way, but yeah, I guess keeping the color on your palette is kind of a thing from one to another. I do have some purple left here. Here in the middle. It is pretty cool to see it just how goes the art? Well, we might have had a few technical issues, but you know. We might have had a lot of technical issues, and some of the technical issues were hi, I'm Honey. So, to be fair, that was some of it. I don't even know if I'm doing it right by going back and forth. I guess some of that's just learning as we go and the textures and how different things will be. This sounds like a perfectly normal stream then. Yes. Hi, Mina. So, one of the things that scares people off is the fact that you can't really cover up your mistakes. Like Bob Ross is always saying, "Oh, it's a happy little accident," and there's nothing wrong. But you'll see, and I can see that. I can see how the strokes are showing through. The fork worked. Yeah, I had some minor technical difficulties. Overall, I think this angle works. I do want to work on trying to get an overhead one. It so makes me happy though. It is just cool to see how it changes and how the colors blend and mix. Some of this over here looks a little bit like muddled and poopy. um, like that patch right there looks a little bit on the brownish side. I can live with that. So, kind of playing with the sides of the brushes and the width of the brushes. I don't have any particular design ideas, so I'm just playing with a few colors. I think Bob Ross's "Happy Little Accidents" and there's nothing that you can do wrong is his catchphrase, and mine's going to be "This makes me happy." If it makes you happy, it's all good. So I definitely, I mean, obviously, I need to learn, the color charts, and I do have one. I now have a beautiful color chart that I printed out. Um, so I guess I kind of have like a grass and sky thing going on. What if we used a fine tip and maybe made no. Okay. Okay. So Kinka, you said that you used to do oils. That's very interesting. I don't know that I actually want to like make a person or something. I guess maybe I thought about like a swing set. But maybe we'll do more of ah! I'm throwing paints. The panda base is claimed by Good. Oh no. Oh. No. You've only used acrylic and watercolor. Ah, okay. But you said that you had done some painting and you wouldn't mind doing it again. So was it acrylic that you liked? It really bothers me that there's this little tip that's going to get wasted. All right. So this one is burnt umber. There will definitely be some art. There will definitely be some paint flung at some point. So what if we painted fences? A fence. I don't really know how a fence goes or should be, but I mean, wouldn't it be like essentially that? Why do I feel like I've just ruined it? I don't know anything about perspective or any of that. And I guess that's kind of what I'll be learning. And Lily, I definitely like your idea of labeling it just like with the cooking streams. So I could have text above or below me saying, currently warming up with paints, or currently working on this or that. Home is wherever you may be. Come home. Come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. No, you mean I found the 1 in 10. I have definitely found the 1 in 10. Got to come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Come home. Got to come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. I'm actually kind of surprised that's a relatively straight line. Yeah. Oh no, Wolfan. One of Nibby's pieces was put forward to a competition. Like I always joke, they didn't get their artistics from me, but like I said, I can't actually say that because I don't know. We definitely had some of the most challenging times just getting sorted. I have absolutely zero confidence in anything artistic. So I'm actually kind of surprising myself by going on a limb at all with this. Oh. So I kind of wanted to keep going. Just because this is a picture doesn't mean that's the end of the fence. Right? Yeah. Home is wherever I'm with you. Come home. Got to come home. All right. I think it's really interesting to me that you can't that you can't waste it. That you can go back and continue to use it. Although, as you can see, I've kept my palette very clean. I've kept my uses very small. Let me move that. Maybe you'd be able to differentiate without the sea of. Nope, it's too reflective. Okay. So let's play a little bit more with this. Now, I am going to. I can already tell you right now. I'm going to keep. I will continue with the watercolor, um, whether it's necessarily live or not. But we'll definitely do some live. Pick up a little bit of this green. Ah, that's got the brown in it. Oh, there's definitely a white. Yeah, that had brown in it. So not acceptable, woman. You should have checked. Let's use a different green then. Let's play with another one. Whoa! Okay. Green. That green was roaring to go. It's just like, yeah, I'm out. I'm out. I don't even know why the fence, honestly. Just sort of wanted something for the in between. Ha ha! That's a big dab. Hi, Ava. How are you? I am having so much fun with my watercolors. And this is my very first. This is my very, very first, like, okay, I'm going to do a thing. watercolor. Okay, so if I'm going to do some more, if I've got this as a fence, then I want to have a little, not just like a green wash at the bottom. I want to give it a little bit of like actual grass. So that's a small flat. Pick up a little bit of the green. So what if we made some more distinction in here? So it's not just, oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Okay. Okay, water. I should really fill one of these little blobs with water, but I've just got them in the cups, and the mugs are only a little bit filled. We are doing pretty good around here. This is a test of the Hun stream. Hun painting stream. This is a test, only a test. And we had, initially we just really had to do a lot of setup. This is the first time that I've actually done any watercolors. The other time that I have ever painted was at the Minecraft Marathon, where I painted what I call Bloody Mountain on Pac's shirt. And it was not pretty. It was quite the mess. But it was fun. No, his shirt that he painted on me looked good. His shirt looked good. My shirt was aptly named Bloody Mountain. He had also learned from prior years to keep it tight and like smaller and not I might take a picture of this and send it to my mom. Be like, look what I did. He had learned not to use the whole canvas. I just want like the impression that there's, grass here. None of these sections look the same. None of these sections look the same. I'm keeping the water fairly low on this because I'm not trying for it to spread. I'm trying more of a streak, I guess, for the blades. Cute technical term. Hi, Mara. None of those. Well, I meant more like how the grass is. Yeah, I was okay with that because yeah, you're right. You're right. Take out a little bit of that water. Grab a little more green from my palette. And this green is green deep. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to do shadowing or any of that stuff. I've never had an art class, so the shadowing and stuff. I have seen a couple of like examples of how to do it. I I don't know. We will definitely work on that in the future. I am having fun. This is so. It just makes me happy. You don't think you've ever learned anything useful art and what you do today with art? Well, yeah. I mean, like, it'd be nice to know perspective and shadowing, and honestly, this kind of looks better than I, than I thought it would. Um, so I like how some of these individual blades are definitely kind of showing through, and then other ones look more like clumped together. Hints of or impressions. Well, actually, that's what's interesting. That is what's very, very interesting. I have seen some very incredibly detailed um, watercolor. And so I think I picked out a pretty decent one for this use, actually. I've seen some really, really amazingly detailed illustrations. And you're like, holy crap, that was watercolor? Really? I don't know how I'm supposed to be holding my wrist, but not actually not even sure how I'm supposed to be holding the brush, but this is how I'm holding it. And it's comfortable. And I like how it's turning out. You have to come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. I was very, very flat here, and now I'm like getting a little bit everywhere. I am going to go through it, maybe add some more, so it's not just at this line, but I really want it focused on there. Okay. Let's get a little more. Yeah, we need more. More. Okay, not bad. Okay. Mix that a little bit better. That right there bothers me because that looks like a very wide flat brush. So we'll go through and make this a really thick clump. It's so funny because I sound like I know what I'm doing. Put 2 dots high in the picture and far out in the corners. Yeah. Yeah, about that. Whoops. I do want some of this a little bit higher. I didn't necessarily want that much. Can we dab you? Are you fresh and wet and dabbable? Not really. All right. Let's see if we can't get some off of that. That one can be a thicker plant. It's fine. Saved it. Okay. Wow. I made a painting. Get you damp again. And on the side. I guess instead of a small flat, I probably should have had a more pointy. Okay. No, I'm not going to get a pointy one now. Okay. We're going to draw it a little bit more. And I do know that you go lights to dark, although my purple and blue sky sort of ended up. Okay, so we're going to do a few artist pen. Was an art instructor. Oh yeah. Just gonna draw some of this down. That's all I was really trying to do with that, but it was too thick. More wet. Just draw that down. The English language doesn't have nearly enough words for art supplies. I can agree with that. So legit, if I could, like legit, if I could, pull off any remote thing on watercolors, then it can be done by anybody. Because I'm actually really hella proud of this little sucker. Okay, let me get a larger brush. Because this is becoming too... There we go. This is becoming too defined. I don't want it defined. Not down here. Right? And I know from some of what I've read and seen, you know, that you can, to a point, you know, like draw down and add take some of that color down. I think I even kind of cleaned up that quote unquote muddy patch. Okay. Okay. Hi, Sister Attitude. You do pencil drawings with shadowing? Your dad's a paint artist. A lot of his paintings have sold for thousands. I know some little things, but not much really. Wow. I've never done anything. A little dab of that. Just want to give it a little bit of texture, a little bit of connectivity to the ground, because these are just sort of, you know, stuck there. If that makes sense, it just sort of looked like they were hanging out. And I just wanted to smooth that out, and I feel like maybe we've accomplished that. Hair is tough. Eyes. Oh, I imagine eyes are really, really hard. Hair really, really hard. So what do I have here? You're kind of pointy. She did not teach how to do arts. Be artistic. Oh, well. That's annoying. And Wolfan, thank you again for the suggestion. Or, I'm sorry, for the um, color chart. I kind of like the effect of the lines that I got there. Yes, yes, the chart that was randomly put in there, that was for me. So I think maybe if we emphasize that just a touch. Just a happy little touch. Oh, oh my goodness gracious, I'm abusing myself so much. So I do want to go through and try some different experimentings, actually do like a specific, hey, we're going to practice this technique that I watched a video on or something like that. I'm actually really, really happy with this. I mean, I've been happy with the whole thing. The fence made me nervous. Yeah. So I'm saving that into my watercolors folder. So I had absolutely no plan. I had absolutely no thought of what I would do or where it would end. Um, but that there is my creation. So I have some papers on color theory and the color wheel now and stuff like that. I have no idea about like what colors are complementary for what. I wanted to be sure and tilt it so you guys could see the whole thing. I want to kind of put. I don't really know how to make. Oh yeah, that. That will. I don't really know how to make. Um, I don't know how to make a flower, but yeah, I actually had thought about that. I thought it would be nice to have like just a little uh, bit of color. I'm just not sure how to do that other than some dots. Oh, absolutely. I will. I will absolutely let it fully dry. Um, so other than like putting little red spots, which I did kind of toy with. And I have absolutely no idea um, how. So I have no idea how I would add like like a flower at this spot. And you really think red dabs would just work? It has it has dots. You like the coloring we have? I was just like I started with purple in the background. So I was afraid of not being able to like actually make like a flower, but it's so small you wouldn't be able to. Ooh, I want to see your picture. I want to see the picture. Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. I really kind of like it. I really do. I really do like it. There's something soothing about it. Ah, you said there's something soothing from my painting. Ah! Really? Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Um, I. Oh, it sounds like pack is live. I'm not sure why it did not go to pack. Sorry. I really like it. Don't improve it to the point of ruining it. Let it dry, sign it, and hang it on the fridge. Um, I should get one of those. I should get one of those photo albums and like date the back of each one. Title it? It's like that time of early morning when the air is fresh and it's still fairly quiet out. Just when it gets to be day. Yeah, I guess I should have. Well, no, not should have. Not should have. I guess I could have done more with the sky. Um, Honestly, it wasn't necessarily a sky. It was just playing with purple. Everybody, in general, I'm so proud of that. Um, I just wanted to explore explore the medium. You know, just Just put some paint down and just see how it feels, see how it looks. One of the problems with the angle that we had is it's flat, so we have a lot of reflection from the the lights and such. So like this whole middle here that you guys see looks almost like white, but when you get to see it, up and straight on, you can see that there is some lightness there, but it's not white. So I haven't actually learned how to make any particular thing, and we are gonna go. I'm gonna take you guys on this journey with me, as we explore my artistic side. Straight on, it looks wonderful. Aww. Right, so a lot of the country fans, yeah, really. A lot of what like I said, what I saw was, you should see what your colors are. You should just and as I realized as I was going that I was almost more straight up painting. Then I'm like, wait, get water on your brush, go back to it, and get a feel. So the viewpoint of a cow. Yeah. So, I think we did pretty good with Pac's old paper keeper trapper binder from high school or college, and two boards. Can you see it there? Two boards that I put together from there's the seam to hold the paper from so that made that angle made basically I made my own desk easel. So yeah, I just kind of started with colors that I liked, like purple and the green, and I thought maybe I could go over. And I think it's interesting because look, the purple was pretty much done at set, and then I went and did the green. And when I went over it with the blue, like you can see the purple peeking through. I really like that. I really camera angles. I'm really kind of proud of myself. I'm a lot of bit proud of myself. I did a thing. So for the most part, I'll probably do like, oh my gosh, did you guys even like it? It's cool, but you didn't have to like it. I love it. I kind of like. Okay, so now I understand that artistic thing, that whole the artist thing of I'm not done yet, or maybe I should do a little more, I feel like I was thinking about how to maybe add some flowers or something, and then it's like, no, I don't know how it would be. This part over here makes me think of a mountain. Like just the hint of a mountain in the corner. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's done. I like how there's a little bit of a hint of some rollingness to the ground. It's not just completely flat. I actually think I did pretty good.